boils down to this, folks. We started with 729 teams in this year's FA Cup, and we're now down to the final two. Chelsea, Liverpool, duke it out for this year's FA Cup. Who's going to win? We're going to take a little look next. Right, folks, back to another prediction video. Today we look forward to a juggernaut of an FA Cup final. It's Chelsea, it's Liverpool, it's at Wembley, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe and keep back and say all things FA Cup related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related. We're going all here, boys. Under one rooski. That's right, the FA Cup started way back in August the 6th, of course, and now we're looking forward to the May the 14th be with you final, that's right, at Wembley, between two massive clubs, Chelsea and Liverpool, who try to get their hands on the trophy once again. Who's going to, of course, be coming out on top? We'll take a look at that in a minute. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They're the patrons, guys. You know who you are. But anyway, let's get into it. Of course, recap where we are, and how we got to the stage. That's right. Let's kick it all off way back in match day number 1, aka round 1. Of course, way back in August, we had the qualifying rounds and all that kind of stuff. But way back in about November, 6th of November, we had the first round. That's right. Let's take a recap of some of them results. In fact, here are all the results. But the standout ones for me, of course, in round 1 were these. That's right. 7-4 Bobby Dazzler, Halifax Town up against Maidenhead. That's an 11-goal thriller. You don't see that every day. Meanwhile, the start of the fairy tale for Boreham Wood, 2-0 win over Eastleigh. That was, of course, in the first round. Kicking off forward in a bunch of games in the first round. Some of the shockers there. Harrogate Town knocking out Deadpool FC, of course. I know League 2. Harrogate Town should really beat non-League T, but of course Wrexham have had a fantastic season in, of course, the National League. Harrogate Town, not too much these days. Meanwhile, another bit of a shocker there. St Albans, of course, from non-league, knocking out eventual League 2 Champianos. Of course, Forest Green Rovers, the Vegans, get knocked out at this stage as well. And then, of course, the final stretches here. These are some of the replays as well in the first round. Some shockers there. Stevenage knocking out MK Dons, who, of course, just missed out on promotion themselves. Also, Stockport County, looking like they could be on their way to the EFL, knocking out Bolton Wanderers, and 8-goal Bobby Dazzler over in Stockport as well. That's, of course, the first round. What about the second round there? Let's recap some of the results on that one then, shall we? Kicking all off with this one. 7-goal thriller with Wimbledon over Cheltenham. What a game that must have been. Meanwhile, down the foot there, Boreham Wood continue their fairy tale journey in the FA Cup with a 4-0 win over St Albans. That's right. Meanwhile, into the third round. This is when the big boys came in, including Blackburn Rovers. I'm putting them in the same category. They're big boys. But, of course, it didn't last very long for Rovers as they crashed out. We'll talk about that in a second. But here, Kidderminster Harriers, they had a bit of a fairy tale as well, knocking out Reading of the Championship. Of course, Kidderminster, what are they, in the National League South? Something like that, knocking out Championship Reading. Monstrous result. One of the shocks of the tournament so far as well. Meanwhile, Wigan did knock out Rovers. We'll talk less about that because that's not very good. And, of course, another shocker there, Newcastle from the Premier League. This was when Eddie Howe took over the reins. Cambridge knocking them out 1-0 in the process. Concluding the third round, of course, we had some other shockers here with Nottingham Forest starting their shocking knockout fest, knocking out some of the big boys. 1-0 win over Arsenal as well. Into the fourth round we go. That's right, Manchester United knocked out on penalties from Middlesbrough. Shocker Rooney. Chelsea were ranked close by Plymouth, as were Kidderminster Harriers were close to knocking out West Ham United. But, of course, another shocker down here. Well, not really a shocker. All Premier League affair. Wolves going crashing out to Norwich. And, of course, down the bottom there, AFC Bournemouth getting knocked out by Boreham Wood. Absolutely fantastic. We can now say Boreham Wood knocking out Premier League Bournemouth. We can say that in the same breath, of course. Into the fifth round we go. And, of course, Manchester City, no problems, of course, knocking out Peterborough. But, of course, Middlesbrough continue with their bit, knocking out Tottenham Hotspur 1-0 in the end. They knocked out United. They knocked out Spurs there to go through to the latter stages. Meanwhile, also, Everton knocking out Boreham Wood. Their fairy tale has come to an end, but what a journey for them this season as well. Into the quarterfinals, of course, the final 8, and we say goodbye to Middlesbrough. See you later. Get knocked out by Chelsea, and we also say goodbye to Championship Nottingham Forest, the two lowest teams in the tournament, got knocked out at this stage to set up the semi-finals. Of course, these were the last games, and here are the results and my predictions. Of course, let's get into it. Manchester City against Liverpool, 3-2 in the end. Liverpool go through, of course, despite drawing with them in the league. I think it wasn't too later on when Liverpool came out on top with a 3-2 win on the night to knock out Manchester City. Game it was a bit of a thriller as well. Meanwhile, Chelsea, no problems with a win over Crystal Palace to set up the zinger of a final we have today. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's take a look at how you guys got on with, of course, the Prediction League. This is, of course, for this past week. Only 2 points on the offering. And Hans Worst, Max Sangardi, James Peace, great, Kevin, Andy Dagg, Russell Frost, Roberto the Hornet, doing very, very well, picking up 100% on this past match day. today. Of course, what about the mini leaderboard? In fact, this is the monster leaderboard, and we can declare a winner. That's right. It's Iman Hussein is the winner of the FA Cup Prediction League. There is 2 points gap between themselves and Shadon. Only one on the offering here, so he cannot be caught. It's his name on lights. Of course, we'll see about declare, or we'll get him a gift and all that kind of stuff, maybe into the month of June. So let's get that party started. Again, if you're not on the Discord, get involved in the Discord. If not, hit me up with an email. You check out that's listed somewhere. But anyway, let's take a look at the final. If you want to get in there and get your name in lights for the final, Cutley/FA Cup is the way of it. And here we go, boys, with that final. It is Chelsea, it is Liverpool, it is at Wembley, of course. Let's get in the deep end and have a look at this game then, shall we? Of course, looking forward to this one on the 14th of May. Not too far away, just a couple of days away, so let's get excited about it. 81 times they played since 1993, 31 wins for Chelsea, 29 wins for Liverpool, and we got 21 draws, of course. Chelsea coming to this, though, 50% for winning 2 and losing 2 and drawing 2 over the last 6, up against the Liverpool side, who are still mathematically on for a quadruple. Of course, this would be part 2 of that quadruple, already succeeding in winning the League Cup. However, the Premier League is slipping slowly but surely from their grasp, and they'll need a bit of a miracle into the final couple of games of the Premier League campaign. They come to this, though, 92% form for them, winning 5 of the last 6. They are in the Champions League final. That, of course, probably takes priority over a lot of the remaining tournaments that they've got in the mixer. But of course, they played 81 times. The biggest win for Chelsea over Liverpool was a 4-0 win. The biggest win for Liverpool over Chelsea, of course, in those 81 matches was a 5-1 win. In fact, both sides got 117 goals against each other over the course of those 81 games, which works out about 1.44 goals per game. Liverpool, they haven't lost the last 15 games. Of course, during the last 38 meetings between Chelsea playing at home, Chelsea won 17 times, and there have been 12 draws, while Liverpool have won 9. Of course, but this game is not at Stamford Bridge, it's not it's at Wembley. Of course, now these two sides did lock horns a few times already this season. Way back in match number 3, it was a 1-1 draw at Anfield. Of course, it was also a 2-2 draw in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge back in, of course, January 2022. They also played each other in the EFL Cup final, of course, the second doubleheader in the final, of course. Of course, Liverpool going on to win it 11-10 on penalties. Wow, indeed. Meanwhile, Liverpool coming to this on the back of that 2-1 win over Aston Villa. That keeps them in the hunt, of course, despite picking up a bit of a wobbly draw against Spurs last time around. Of course, Chelsea, though, with a big 3-0 win over Leeds, they also come to this unbeaten in the back-to-back games now, pick up a draw against Wolves and now a win against Leeds as well. But what about the odds for this one? I should have the odds for this one. We do have the odds. It's 11-4 for Chelsea to win after 90 minutes, and of course 2019 on is Liverpool to win after 90 minutes. The draw is 13-5 on this one. But if you want to go for the odds to be victorious and lift the trophy at the end of this match, no matter what it takes, 90 minutes, extra time, penalties, all that kind of stuff, well, it's 13-8. Chelsea are second favourites, with of course Liverpool are 2-1 to win it. Of course, I do believe that Liverpool will win this trophy. I do believe that they'll win this trophy this season as well, and I'm going to go with a comfortable 3-1 win in the end for Liverpool to complete part 2 of an illustrious quadruple. I don't think they'll go the distance and get the quadruple now at this stage. I do think they'll win this silverware to make it a double cup bonanza for them, and looking forward to potentially adding to that, whether it is the Premier League, whether it is the Champions League over the next couple of games. But that, my friends, is my take on it. Be sure to get your own take on it using the link here, Cutley/FA Cup, and see if you can join me and getting it right, because I feel I'm going to get this one right. I think I'm going to get the scoreline right as well. But anyway, that is it, guys. Short and sweet, of course. Recap, of course, the FA Cup, and looking forward to the final as well. Hopefully you can do too. Make sure you smash the subscribe if you're new, smash your thumbs up as well, and hit the little bell so you don't miss a beat over the course of the summer. We've got lots still planning. We've got we got World Cup stuff, we've got Premier League stuff, all that kind of jazz just around the corner. But anyway, make sure you stick around for that and more here at Blackburn Overseas, and of course get picks in and drop a comment as to who do you think will win the FA Cup, and who do you think, or do you think actually that Liverpool can win the quadruple? Let me know your thoughts down below. But until then, boys, we're going to be done right here. Smash the thumbs up. See you later. But until then, be safe out there.